thewellnesscouch.com, streaming wellness into your lives. This is Up for a Chat with Cyndi O'Meara, Carren Smith, and Kim Morrison.
Here we are, up for a chat about the hottest topics that are important to you, inspiring you to awaken the change within. I'm Carren Smith.
It's Kim Morrison.
And it's Cyndi O'Meara.
And she's the combination. So on our last podcast, I started with It's Carren Smith. Kim got all confused.
I lost it completely. So anyway,
here we are, up for a chat. So today on our podcast, I thought I would share with you what my experiences were like when I went to speak for the chiropractors in San Francisco last week. And it was really an incredible experience that was born out of a whole synergistic coinky-dinkle, which means coincidental. Coinky-dinkle.
I love your words. We should have Karen's dictionary.
It's coinky-dinkle with a K. It came from this whole amazing set of circumstances that just all lined up to open up this unbelievable world of opportunity to me that has not only been exceptional for my business, but it's been extraordinary for me. It's been such an amazing journey, and I really wanted to share it with you guys today in terms of what chiropractic actually is and what it's done for all of us. I think it's worth exploring that because, Cyndi, how is a chiropractor? Mm-hmm. I've been seeing a chiropractor for 20 years on and off. And Kim, you've been seeing chiropractic...
Cindy's husband.
Mm-hmm. On the side.
And I sleep with my chiropractor.
And you sleep with your guitar.
I've tried.
And I'd like to.
See, my dad was a chiropractor, my sister's a chiropractor, my husband's a chiropractor, and my daughter is at college becoming a chiropractor.
So it's no bloody wonder. Do you know, I never got it until this trip to San Francisco. It never really registered for me that the chiropractors are a breed unto themselves. They're completely... And I can totally see why you would have landed up marrying a chiropractor, because you'd been in that realm of innate intelligence forever, since you were a kid.
Yeah.
It makes so much sense. It all just makes so much sense to me now. In fact, actually... You know, I've been seeing a chiropractor for years. Since probably, I don't know, I was 23, I think. So, yeah, that's 20 years now. And that chiropractor introduced me to spirituality.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I had no idea about it. I mean, my mum was always a spiritual seeker. So I would always hear what she had to say and participate in what she had to say. But I never really understood what spirituality was until she introduced me to it through... Marianne Williamson. She gave me tapes of Marianne Williamson, and I was going through so many troubles with Greg, my partner who took his life. I was going through so many problems because our relationship was a roller coaster. It was rough, you know. When it was bad, it was terrible for lots of reasons that I'm sure I contributed to, though I doubt. I just said that to make you think I was human.
Is that what spirituality's all about?
Yes. But she introduced me to it all. But even then, she introduced me to spirituality, but she didn't really introduce me to chiropractic and what it was. I didn't understand. And I've been going to see chiropractors, and every time I get depressed or every time I get down or I'd feel like I was in a bit of pain, I'd go and see the chiropractor because she always made me feel better. But then it was only temporary, and then I'd go back and see the chiropractor again, and it was temporary. So I would go and see the chiropractor every time I was in pain. And then, when I was better, I didn't go and see the chiropractor anymore. What do you need to go see? What for? So then as my speaking career developed... It never dawned on me, it never occurred to me that chiropractors would be somebody or a group of people that I would be affiliated with or associated with until one gorgeous creature, Donna, came to work with me, Donna Moritz.
Donna Moritz, yeah.
What a treat. What a beautiful woman. Mm-hmm. And her husband is a chiropractor, Gray. And she said to me, she said, Kazza, we need to get you speaking for chiropractors in Australia. She said, because they're going to love your message. And at first I went, yeah, whatevs. No worries, I'll just do that. No worries. And so Donna actually put the feelers out, and she didn't let go. She stayed with it like a dog with a bone. She didn't let go on getting me speaking with the chiropractors. And I couldn't quite understand why she kept at it. Because I thought, oh, well, if, whatever. Like, if it comes off, it comes off. If it doesn't, it doesn't. It's no big deal. And then she kept on me to read Dr. Sarah Farrant's book, The Vital Truth. Mm-hmm. And I'd flicked through it a couple of times and resonated with a number of different pages and paragraphs and chapters in that book. But I went, yeah, I already know all of that. This has been my journey for the last 20 years, so I already get that. And accelerated since Bali. So I thought, I'll read it, I'll get to it, but it wasn't a priority. Anyway, before I was due to speak for chiropractors, because Donna just didn't let go, and I was offered an opportunity to speak for the Dynamic Growth Conference.
And one of the largest conferences that
How many?
The national, 900? I think there were 900.
Wow.
Wow. It's a huge conference. And considering I think there's only 2,500, 3,000 chiropractors in Australia, so to get that many chiropractors there on one weekend, once a year, it's been going since, I think the 80s, about 88 it started.
You've spoken at it, haven't you?
Yeah, I've spoken at it several times, but it's been going since about 1988. And Donna's right. It's your perfect environment because they think like you think. Remember, I like that man. He thinks like I do.
I like that man.
I like that
I like it a lot. Well, I had no idea. So I went into it with the concept that it was just another speaking engagement. And I was able to listen to a couple of different speakers at the conference before I went on. But they were speaking more about the business of chiropractic. And to be honest, I thought that there were some opportunities and some gaps in the business of chiropractic that didn't quite gel with me. So I thought, oh, well, I'll just deliver what I'm going to deliver, and if it doesn't gel, it doesn't gel. That's just, how it is. So I didn't put that much into it. Of course, I prepared my presentation like I normally do furiously and practiced it. But I wasn't thinking that it would be what it's turned out to be. Mm-hmm. So I stood up on the stage. Cyndi was in the audience
with Donna Moretz,
as Donna was.
Donna and I were together. We were up the back together, watching
her weave her magic.
And it was this auditorium, so the seating went up to the sky,
and we were in the sky.
You were in the sky, and the stage was down at the bottom. And I heard the guy who was speaking before me, and I'd only just started opening up this Pandora's box, this rabbit hole of the Fibonacci sequence. I had only just discovered it, so I'd started studying it and researching it as I do. But when this man who was on before me should speak about the magic of the Fibonacci sequence being the magic of the universal intelligence as a justification of the universal intelligence that exists inside of the human body, I was speechless, and I can honestly say I remember standing behind the curtains waiting to go on, and I'd gone blank because I was I was still stuck in this other guy's presentation. His name was Eric
Bailey. Was it Bailey?
Not Eric Bailey. No, not Eric Bailey. No, he was Dr.
I was there. I was watching it.
Yeah. It was Eric Bailey's a tall basketballer. This guy is.
That's right. He is too. He's a speaker.
Yeah, and he's a gorgeous man.
Yeah. Wasn't it the guy that headed up New Zealand College of Chiropractic?
Yes.
Yeah, but I can't remember
His
Eric's
name
last name.
escapes me.
That's okay.
Anyway, amazeballs. So now all of a sudden I've gone blank because I'm in this state of incredible intimidation, thinking nothing I have to deliver is going to stand up to that if that's the quality of the stuff that's being delivered here. I was beside myself, and as they're calling out my name to walk up on the stage, I honestly had moments to collect myself and leave my damaged, doubt, intimidated self. I had to leave it behind. And I actually, as I'm walking up onto the stage, I thought, you've got to leave it behind, you've got to drop it, and you've got to trust that what you're about to deliver is what these people need. You've got to trust. And I was just really hammering myself. And as I took each step up onto the stage, each step for me, when I stand up on stage or get up on stage, it's what I call an anchor. So the steps are an anchor as a reconfirmation that I'm in the right place at the right time with the right message and the right ears. And that was what the steps were. So I got up on the stage and I delivered what I delivered, and I have no idea what I said. But I do remember at one point putting my arms up in the air and looking to the sky and feeling this most incredible, empowering sensation course through every cell in my body that it almost brought me to tears halfway through my presentation. And it was a point where I was actually being funny.
I have to tell you, at about that point, I don't know exactly, but about halfway through, Donna and I looked at each other and went, she's on fire. Both of us said it together.
Right.
So, yeah, because we'd both seen you speak hundreds of times, and both of us looked at each other and went, she's on fire.
Remember we did a podcast a while ago on, I think it was around when you had just done this. It was about us leaving the room. And
leave the room.
Oh, my God.
And you did an
I
amazing
heard nothing but amazing
presentation
feedback.
from that one. Yeah, it was from that one only.
Yeah, none of the others, just that.
And there probably won't be another one, but, you know, you did well.
Yeah, you did well then.
Yeah, well, it's, one should have one's moment in one's life. So I delivered the presentation, and after the presentation, a fellow comes to me, and I do my book signing, and of course, I honestly, I have to say to you, I don't even know if I've thanked you yet. I thought that there would be me at a little table with a couple of books, and I might sell 5. Fortunately for me, Cyndi and Donna just appeared from nowhere because there was a lineup out the
A mile long it was.
Do you know how many books I sold?
No, I
sold 337 books that day.
Oh my God, that's a third of the room. More than a third of the room.
I took 10 boxes, and each box has got 36 books in it, and I had 10 boxes, and I didn't come home, I came home with 3 books or whatever.
It was so funny because I'm taking cash, giving books to Carren to sign with names. Like she's got 10 books that she's got to sign as the people come through. I'm doing the cash, Donna's doing the credit card, and the line just keeps going, and we're like...
How lucky you were there.
Oh, thank goodness we were there. And I think somebody else helped.
From somewhere.
Yeah, they just appeared.
Honestly, I didn't even expect you guys or ask you guys to do it, and all of a sudden I turned around and there's Cyndi and Donna.
No, I said to Donna, she's going to need help.
More levels than one.
And I have this policy where I don't put the same autograph in any book.
Oh my
Every book must have a different signing, a different message in it. Granted, my messages are short, but every book has got to have a different message. By the end of it, I was closing my eyes, feeling into the person, and writing the message. I was like totally.
And it was constant.
It was
for like an hour and a bit, I reckon.
Easily.
That's beautiful.
Then they allowed me to keep my table there.
That's right, yeah.
So the next break I could do some more, and the following break and so on. And then, it was 337. I was floored. I was blown away.
Yeah.
We're not.
Oh, no.
No, we're not blown away by you doing that.
No.
We know you're capable.
Oh, aren't you beautiful? Oh, for goodness sake. Aren't you just fabulous?
In fact, if you'd taken 20 boxes, you would have sold that. So you manifested that. You took 10 thinking that might be enough, and you sold all 10.
What a coinky dink. Never thought of that.
Coinky dink. It's a new word.
I love it.
You just drew on my pants.
Oh, I did too.
Not to worry. I did it earlier. So here's what I...
She would wear white pants with you and me. Really, I know.
So this fellow comes up to me after I've done all my book signings, and he says to me, "May I introduce myself to you?" And I said, "Oh, for goodness sake, absolutely, yes. Hi, I'm Carren Smith." And he said, "Of course I know who you are." Because obviously I'd just been on stage. And I was incredibly humbled that somebody asked if they could introduce themselves to me. And I said, "Of course, oh God, gosh, yes, of course." And he tells me that his name's Brian Kelly. And Brian, and he introduced me to his wife, Vicky. "Oh, so pleased to meet you, so pleased to meet you." And then afterwards I'm saying to Donna, "I met the most lovely man, and we were talking about being vegan and how veganism and harmony and bringing unity of the world together. And my goodness, I can't believe we're on the same wavelength." Donna's jaw drops to the ground, and she says, "Oh my God, you've just met Brian Kelly." And now he's the head of chiropractic in the States, but he was the head of chiropractic in New Zealand, the chiropractic colleges in New Zealand, and he was headhunted to go over to the States.
To Life.
Yeah, and it's called Life Chiropractic, and he heads up Life West Chiropractic, and he has totally revolutionised chiropractic. I mean,
He's amazing.
Really?
Yeah, Brian
Is
and
he a
Vicky
Kiwi?
Kelly.
What? Is he what?
I said, is he a Kiwi? And she struggled to say
damn.
yes.
I don't know if he's a Kiwi or an Aussie.
No, he's a Kiwi.
He's a Kiwi.
He's a Kiwi.
That's why we
You say that with disdain, the pair of you.
Disappointment.
I am shocked.
But what a beautiful soul. Gentle
Yeah.
soul, lovely man.
and Vicky.
Such
gorgeous.
heart, so beautiful. I do actually have news for you about Miss Vicky.
She's pregnant.
No, she's not pregnant. She's
Don't start a rumour.
Yeah, no, she's not pregnant. No, she's not pregnant. I don't even know if I can say it. I probably shouldn't, and I'm not going to, actually.
Oh, well, we'll just start the rumour. Vicky's pregnant. She'll kill me.
And she will listen to this.
I know she
She'll
will.
listen to
And
this.
she's having twins.
We'll just throw that one in.
What about triplets?
Could be.
Well, we might as well make it good.
With,
lost one.
with the milkman. With the milkman. Really, embellish it.
Why not make it good? All right, enough of that. Right.
Anyway.
Let's talk about how Brian
Brian
changed
then,
your life a little bit more.
Brian then invites me to speak at the San Francisco conference, at the WAVE conference. But he asks me if I'm prepared to speak next year, 2014. And oh my goodness, I said, of course, whatever it takes, I'll be there. Yes, yes, yes. And then Brian sends me a message a couple of months later, and he says to me, look, we've had a change of plans and we want to invite you to come and speak for us this year, 2013. And I go, shut the front door.
And open the back.
Because guess who's speaking this year?
Marianne Williams.
Marianne Williamson. And I tell you, I've always wanted to share the stage with that woman.
I know.
I've always wanted to just even be in the same room with her. She's amazing. And I've been following her for years. Honestly, wet my pants right there.
Did you get a picture with her?
We didn't see it on
We didn't see it on Facebook. We were shocked, absolutely shocked.
No,
You're
no.
looking.
She was in and out. She was not one to be socialised with. No.
Is that right?
Yes, that's right. That's right. Yeah, look, it was interesting. It was very interesting because what a person, I had her on a pedestal and I had her built up to something because of everything that she'd taught me and I'd learnt from her and followed from her. But she's human too. And, I think that a person has to evolve and their message has to evolve and they have to remain relevant if they're going to continue to keep the market captive. And unfortunately, I just didn't get that. So, and I think a lot of people didn't get that. But having said that, though, even just to be in the room with her, and her message is still so to the point and so specific. She doesn't mince words at all. She's a powerful all the way. She doesn't mince her words. She is to the point, and she's an amazing catalyst for change. She really is, and she doesn't stop. Whatever it takes, that woman does not stop. She keeps going. She keeps going. I am in awe, absolutely in awe.
It's been going a long time.
She has, and that also is a testament to her and the testament to her message, which is all born out of A Course in Miracles, which I think is an amazing testament to the Course in Miracles. If you haven't read the Course in Miracles, it's a difficult read. I actually found an amazing book, and I want to share it with you guys because I read it on the plane, and it's called Miracles the Free Way. And you can get it on Amazon. I downloaded it through Kindle. Miracles the Free Way, FREEWAY. And
Who's that by?
I can't remember the name, but
I'll look it up.
it's the only one book. It's the only one on there, on Amazon. Oh my goodness, so fabulous. Anyway, so Brian asked me to speak. I say, hell yes. And I've organised, to go over to San Francisco. So,
And mind you, it was, a couple of days after you got back from Europe?
well, 2 days. I was home 2 days, just got a single night's sleep, and then boarded the flight to go to San
That
Fran.
would have been tough.
Not as bad as I thought.
Oh, good.
Yeah, not as bad as I thought. I've
She
actually
went first class.
I'm doing jet lag much better these days. I am doing jet lag much better these days. And, thanks to you girls for our travel tips because I had my oils that I was sniffed ferociously on the plane. I didn't actually sleep.
Joe Williams?
Joe Williams, it could be. We're just having a look at the Miracles the Freeway as to
Joe
who
Williams.
it was by. And it could be Joe Williams.
Dr. Joe Williams.
Yes, Dr. Joe Williams.
Okay.
So I get to San Francisco. Jet lag's not so bad. Straight to the shops.
Because why, Kaz?
Because there are shoes.
No.
No, you forgot something. Everything.
I forgot everything. What did I forget? Oh, do you want to say? Oh. Okay, so I get to San Francisco, unpack my bag, realise I have no undies.
This is the girl that in our travel podcast said she travels with 30 pairs.
Yeah,
And I told her to go with 2.
Well, do you know what I did? When we went to Europe, I packed my 30 pairs, which left no room for me to buy anything, so we had to buy an extra suitcase while we were there. So I decided when I go to San Francisco, no, I've got to carry all my books over there. So I'm only going to take 3 of everything, and I'm going to wash it all, which is what I did, but I forgot to pack my undies. And I forgot to pack my hairbrush, and I forgot to pack a comb, and I forgot to pack hairspray, and I forgot to pack my hair straightener. Hello, straight to the shops.
Yeah, definitely.
Straight to Victoria's Secret. It's quite fabulous.
See?
It was fabulous.
When you do something that you think is not right.
Oh, it all turns out.
opportunity arises.
Especially
All turns
Victoria's
out
Secret, because it's not here in Australia.
Well, it actually is. Victoria's Secret is here.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Sydney Airport.
Yeah,
Yeah, but it's the perfumes. It's not the underwear.
No, underwear's
No,
there.
it's underwear. And toilet bags.
Everything.
Not that I've got one.
Oh, I haven't noticed.
Yes, and I would even say Google it, because I would say that Victoria's Secret is even going to be in the Brisbane airport.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah, because they're doing a big reno. Anywho,
Yes.
so go out, buy undies, and decide, well, actually, just purely by accident, spot the discount shoe warehouse. And I'm telling you, this shoe warehouse is twice the size of Bunnings.
Trying to kid.
I didn't Google it before I went.
Not really.
Not really. Not completely.
No.
Just quickly. So get there, 4 pairs of shoes for $160, and they're fabulous. 9 West numbers, stop it. All off the chain. Totally match my handbag that I bought in Europe. Anyway, I digress. So yeah, I land up going back, spending a couple of days getting myself acclimatised, and met a whole bunch of chiropractors. And I was assigned a delegate. I was assigned a student to pick me up from the airport and drive me around, get me checked in, make sure that I had everything I wanted. And this girl, she was 40. So she was a mature age student studying chiropractic, come from the film and television industry, but decided that chiropractic was the light of her life. And of course, I'm still listening through the ears of somebody who is just a speaker about to speak for yet another conference. I was blown away by what a strong woman she was, but she was also somebody who was incredibly focused, incredibly clear on what she wanted for humanity, but over and above that, what she wanted for women. And she's very clear about how she wants women to be revered, like we revere men in our society. We revere men for their achievements and their great, inventions and ideas, but we don't revere women so much. So she wants to change the course of history around that.
Actually, you're so right. You think about the names: Hippocrates, Leonardo da Vinci, Socrates, Newton. Jesus Christ, where's the females in here?
There was Joan of Arc.
Oh, of course, Joan of Arc, Florence Nightingale, but she's
Mother
just a
Teresa.
current one. But these are current ones. But you're right. In past history, there are no women.
Even to that extent, you look at what we've got. We've got Richard Branson. We've got Donald Trump, that we revere now.
Yeah.
Who else?
Kiyosaki.
Robert Kiyosaki. Who else?
Suzuki.
David Suzuki.
David Suzuki.
Jobs. Steve Jobs.
Steve Jobs. Tony Robbins.
And the
Women.
And then when you look in the
Computer guy.
nutrition as well, there's a lot of men like Mike Adams,
David Wolfe.
David Wolfe,
Michael
Daniel
Pollan.
Vitalis, Michael Pollan, and, Dr. Oz. Like you think about it,
It's men.
It's all men.
Women?
Dominated. Why?
Oprah.
Okay, Oprah. The Iron Lady.
Margaret Thatcher.
Margaret Thatcher. Well, she was, she was
She's
seen as-
revered.
Yeah.
Or is she revered?
I don't know if she
Is she even revered? It was a remarkably curious conversation that I had with her, because it really made me start to think that women are not revering women, men are not revering women. As a society, we don't revere women for our contribution, yet it doesn't mean that we're not contributing. We're actually contributing massively. There's something about that. There's a little seed of something in there that I think needs some healing. So anyway, she was assigned to me, and she was just a beautiful, she was amazing. So the whole experience from the time that I landed was wow. To be picked up and, driven around. And then I met a bunch of really amazing chiropractors and started talking to them. And then I met Tez Malloy. Tez is an Aussie. They had a speakers gathering the night before the conference, and I'm wandering around a little bit aimlessly because I got there early, as I do. And Tez is there, and he's wandering around in a football outfit. And I turned around, spotted him, and he goes, "G'day." And I went, "Oh, stop it, you're Australian." And that was it. Instantly, we hit it off like a frog in a sock. He was awesome. Awesome. Introduced me to everybody. Real Aussie, down-to-earth bloke, you know. Really genuine chiropractor guy. Just awesome. And I actually didn't know he was a chiropractor, but he actually works at Life West College and coaches the football team called the Gladiators. So he's... Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Life West have got an amazing football team. Just huge. Anyway, so he's introduced me to everybody, really made me feel at home and relaxed. But the upside of meeting Tez was he started telling me about what to expect, what the audience needed, what I should be talking about, because I was saying, what do they need to hear? What are they ready for? Because I had an idea, but I didn't know. Anyway, so Tez was really good. Then the conference starts, and I make a point of listening to just about every speaker that I possibly can. It was in between two rooms, so I'm moving from one room to the other, listening to the messages that they're getting. And I'm listening to the messages from each of the speakers, and I'm thinking, the speakers are delivering content that is designed to inspire and empower the listeners, which is made up of chiropractors that have flown in from all over the world, as well as the students. There were, in total, about 1,800 to 2,000 people at this conference, including the students and the staff and all of that. And I thought to myself, why do these people need confirmation and affirmation that what they've chosen is the right thing? And it sounded to me like that was what a lot of the message was about, was that chiropractic is amazing. You know, it does amazing things for humanity. You really need to believe in what you're doing and believe in yourself. And I thought, is there a problem? Are they not believing in themselves? Is there a question? And then I spoke to Tez about it, and I spoke to a couple of the others about it, and they actually said that, you know, some chiropractors had started to feel like, you know, they wanted to do other things, and they wanted to, they call them mixes, where they start mixing in other modalities. And then, so, you know, that draws the great divide in chiropractors of straight chiropractic and mixes, which I thought was totally fascinating. And then I go in and I listen to this one man, and he's terribly dynamic on the stage, dressed professionally, excellent. He puts up a big slide that says the purpose of the chiropractic adjustment is to reunite man the spiritual with man the physical, so that the finite might know himself as infinite.
Wow.
D.D. Palmer, founder of chiropractic. I'm not kidding. It was a gobsmacking moment for me in terms of who I was in the room with. Because if that's the premise of chiropractic, what I got very clearly was that the chiropractors either don't know that, or they don't remember it, or they don't speak about it. And from that point on, I started listening to, and it was almost like I was doing interviews with, like, chiropractor after chiropractor. I just was running around saying, what do you think chiropractic is? Why do you do it? And what's the difference that it makes in the world? Why do you do it? Because in my mind, there was a vital truth that was missing. And it was the vital truth of innate intelligence. Yet they talk about it, and they know that it exists, but there's a part that was missing.
And you know why?
Why?
Well, when chiropractic started, it was at Palmer College of Chiropractic, where D.D. Palmer was, and then BJ took it on, which was the son, and then it was perpetuated. And you've got to realise, my dad was there back in the 1950s in Palmer. It was the only place you could study chiropractic. Now you can study chiropractic all over the world. The philosophy was always taught at Palmer, and that was the philosophy that you have just talked about, which is the vital truth, or vitalism. And a lot of the educated chiropractors around the world aren't getting that philosophy. They're getting the mechanics of chiropractic, but they're not getting the philosophy. Like, my daughter is at a college that basically refuses to teach the philosophy of chiropractic.
Why?
I had no idea.
Do you know what,
because it's woo-woo instead of scientific, and
because they're trying to compete with the scientific.
They're trying to compete with medicine, and we can't compete with them because it's a completely different philosophy.
This was the point this was the thing that got me so frustrated, because I thought, what they're doing is direct opposite to medical. Not saying that medical's not right, but it's the direct opposite to medical. So why on earth try to
compare to or beat it?
Yeah, why remove the innate intelligence or the universal intelligence component of the practice and the modality, just so that there's not that much difference, when ultimately chiropractic was established to be remarkably different, the absolute contrast of it. It just astounded me.
And it is very frustrating. It's frustrating to see these students coming out believing that they are just the mechanics of the body rather than the alignment of the spiritual and the physical. And that, I think that is what is really frustrating for many older chiropractors, especially my dad, who's been a chiropractor for 53 years, when he was taught at Palmer. And, there are colleges that are doing that, and Brian Kelly is instrumental in that. And so he did that with New Zealand. But in Australia, I don't know what's happening in Australia as far as the philosophical part goes. They do get the history. But what my daughter's learning is, I believe, heretical for chiropractors. It's crazy. We're trying to prove ourselves in the scientific world. But in actual fact, how can you prove the spiritual and physical alignment of a human body? How can you prove God exists? How can you prove, how can you say there's now behavioural epigenetics? So what you think, what's going to happen to you is going to happen. And they're actually getting the science behind this. Yeah. And there is science behind the mechanical part of chiropractic. But there are some things you cannot prove or disprove.
Well, and this is... But I think as time goes on, we're getting more and more savvy with our scientific experimentation. But the whole... And I said this to Tez, and he was amazing just listening to me banter about it, because I had so many questions about why this component was missing. And science has been very limited because it bases its experiments on evidence.
A hypothesis in the beginning.
A hypothesis?
Yeah.
And then they try and experiment with it. And then
try and get the evidence to prove.
And if there's no evidence possible, they can the experiment.
Yeah.
Which is very much around man. From a physical perspective, they're still considering that man is a machine. They're not considering that man has awareness or consciousness. Now, there is a whole new... school of thought from a psychological perspective that's starting to understand and study consciousness and awareness, because the scientist actually knows that he's aware. The scientist is aware that he's aware. The scientist is aware that he's conscious, but he cannot measure it, therefore, and experiment with it. Therefore, he says it doesn't exist. So you've got this whole school of study around consciousness and awareness, and then you've got this whole school around mechanistic experimentation, which is very Newtonian-based, in conflict. But the Newtonian-based scientist knows that he's aware, and he's aware that he's aware, he just can't prove it. So it's a whole gap in the context of the way that we prove.
Why can they not think differently then, if that's the case? Because I've always seen chiropractic as quite a different, an alternate, as Dr. Sarah Farron says, an alternate way of approaching health. Why... Are they being knocked? Is that what's happening? Are they being...
Yeah, badly. Well, 3 weeks ago on Catalyst, maybe it was a month ago on Catalyst.
It was a month ago because I heard about it when I was in the States.
It was terrible. It was... There's a group of people called the Friends of Science, and the Friends of Science want everything to be clinically proven. They want everything to be scientific, and if it's not scientific, then it should be thrown out. And so they want, out of universities, chiropractic, homeopathy, naturopathy, anything that is not medicine, basically, or evidence-based, as they call it. These Friends of Science, which are a lot of skeptics, they call themselves the skeptics, are in it. So the reporter has gone to either that or the Friends of Science have gone to the reporter and given them this information. And then she's based her whole article about chiropractic on Friends of Science, who are totally against chiropractic as far as what they can do. And I listened to Catalyst, I watched this half-hour show, and I just went, to me, you know how you say, Carren, what you see in others is what you actually see in yourself. They blamed chiropractic for being dangerous, for being a killer, for the adjustment of the back would cause... Yes, this is what was said on Catalyst, basically. Yet, what are their drugs doing?
Absolutely.
You know, and there is no evidence that a chiropractic adjustment by a chiropractor has caused that as much harm as they were talking about. A chiropractic adjustment by a doctor that has no experience is where the problem lays. And they didn't say that. They were just talking about chiropractic adjustment. They didn't make that definition.
Are you saying that medical doctors do
manipulating? Yeah, but
adjustment.
And physio, physios are probably trained. I don't really know their training, so I'm not going to even talk about that. But doctors aren't trained in it, just like doctors aren't trained in nutrition. So how can they say give margarine to lower your cholesterol when they have no idea what margarine does? You know, so doctors have their speciality. They are brilliant in emergency medicine, in reconstruction, and I think they're brilliant. But when it comes to our healthcare, they've done a poor job. And what chiropractors are is they're primary care practitioners who can outsource, say, look, I can't help you, you need to go to this doctor. I can't help you, you need to go here. Or I can help you, let's see what we can do. And the philosophy is a drugless philosophy.
Can I read this to you?
Yeah.
This says, I was just looking up what's the definition of chiropractic, like what does it mean? Chiropractic is a healthcare professional that focuses on disorders of the musculoskeletal system and the nervous system and the effects of these disorders on general health. Chiropractic care is used most often to treat neuromuscular complaints, including but not limited to back pain, neck pain, pain in the joints of the arms or legs, and headaches. Doctors of chiropractic, often referred to as chiropractors or chiropractic physicians, practice a drug-free, hands-on approach to healthcare that includes patient examination, diagnosis and treatment. Chiropractors have broad diagnostic skills and are also trained to recommend therapeutic and rehabilitative exercises, as well as to provide nutritional, dietary and lifestyle counselling.
So that's a very mechanistic view of what chiropractic is. And yes, that's what they do, but then they have a philosophy. There's not only the way they do things, but they have a belief about things as well. And that is that spiritual and physical connection that we realign. And as Dr. Sarah Farrant talks about, and we've had Sarah on the program, is that she basically says we bring things back to centre. You know, and I just love the way she says that, is we bring things back to centre. It's a vitalistic point of view. We do not... there's no drugs, but there are chiropractors in America in states that want to give drugs.
And that was one of the things that Brian Kelly said when he was on the stage, because they're already doing it.
Oh.
What sort of drugs?
Anti-inflammatories and things like that, yeah.
They're giving injections and so on, and Brian said, not on my watch.
Yeah.
He said, we're going to fight tooth and nail, and they've won some court cases now as well to keep that out.
Because we don't... That's not... the philosophy of chiropractic.
That's not the philosophy of chiropractic.
No.
That was one of the things that I spoke on when I got up on stage, because when I got up, I thought to myself, you know what, I've got nothing to lose, but really something needs to be said.
Well, here you go. The controversy is due in part to chiropractic's vitalistic and metaphysical origins and use of terminology that is not always amendable to scientific investigation.
Exactly. You can't.
And see, and
you can't measure it.
Therein lies the problem, which I think is that chiropractors don't talk about the philosophy of chiropractic because they're too frightened, because people, especially in Australia, not so much in the States, mind you, but people especially in Australia are very anti anything spiritual or religious. And I mean, you mentioned... Yeah, woohoo.
Down the rabbit hole, Carren.
They think you're going to have hairy armpits.
Yeah.
So they're very... So I think that's one of the reasons why the real context of chiropractic doesn't get out there. When I got up on the stage, I said to everybody, I delivered my story, and I was very quick with that. And then I said, what happens to humanity is we have these meanings that we give to our life. We create meanings out of each of our experiences, and therefore we go out and live in life and respond and relate to life based on the meanings that we've given it. And I said, that is the greatest misalignment of mankind. And I said...
Misalignment.
But the problem is... And I said this, the problem was not in the room, the problem was outside of the room, because that's what the world was dealing with, and the chiropractors inside of the world, inside of that room, were doing exactly the same thing, because they were being silenced by a society that is only educated from an allopathic perspective. Allopathic meaning medical perspective. You go to the doctor when you're sick, so it's sick care, not health care. So we only know to relate to chiropractors and other modalities from an allopathic perspective. We go to them when we've got a problem. We're not educated that chiropractic is health care, therefore we go to the chiropractor when we're healthy to stay healthy. We're not educated on that because the chiropractor will not speak about innate intelligence.
Well, here it says, the ideas of innate intelligence and the chiropractic subluxation are regarded as pseudoscience.
And rightly so, because they haven't been proven. Yet the scientist knows that there is something that keeps his heart beating in rhythm. There is an intelligence that makes his eyes blink without him knowing. There is an intelligence that makes the sun rise and has the grass grow, but he doesn't know what it is. But he knows that it exists, but he doesn't know what it is.
And there's an intelligence that when the food that we eat is taken into our body, it's makes assimilated. The body.
And science can't prove that.
How does it make an eye? How does it make a brain?
And that's why they call it pseudoscience.
Should
because
pseudoscience be seen as a bad thing?
Well, from the medical perspective, it is
seen as a bad thing, yeah.
But I think the problem exists in the fact that we're trying to compete with the medical industry or the medical profession. Why bother? It's like a mechanic trying to compete with a beauty therapist. Why bother? It's kind of it's
a lot of grease and oil.
Too right.
Little lube change.
A little bit of lube goes a long way. But this, it's kind of not relevant. And I actually said that to them on stage. And I said to them, I've been going to a chiropractor for 20 years. And at no point has a chiropractor ever told me about the innate intelligence that exists inside of me, therefore making me participatory in my own healing. I've been treating chiropractic as most humans do, as we go to them when we're sick, we go to them when we're in pain, we go to them when we're in pain, blah, 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 blah. However, if I went to a chiropractor when I'd come back from Bali and the chiropractor said to me, Carren, there is an innate intelligence inside of you that is magnificent. And it's that same intelligence that blooms a rose and bakes a baby. And you know what we're going to do? We're just going to clear the conduit so that innate intelligence can function inside of your body clean and clear without blockages in that conduit. That's all we're going to do. But Carren, you know what? You're going to have to get what's going on between your two ears. You're going to have to get that clear too, and I can't do that for you. You're going to have to take responsibility for that part. So when we get the body conduit going well, clear, and you get the head clear, you know what? That universal intelligence then has a vibrant, vital vessel that it can express itself in this world. Man, if somebody had said anything to me even remotely close to that, I just would have been literally blown away after being blown up. Let me just say that.
And you said this in the...
I did.
I wish I'd been there.
And I said...
I wish I'd been there to listen.
And I walked out. It was like a kind of a catwalk. It was like a kind of a catwalk-shaped stage. And I walked out to the very end of the stage. And I said, in 20 years, no one's ever told me that. And then I put my arms up in the air and I said, you people have not found your voice and it is not okay. And I left the room because I got really involved in it. And they were on their feet screaming and cheering.
Oh, I bet.
And I couldn't speak over the top of that. And I was floored because I thought to myself, oh, here we go. Geez, what have I done? Oh my goodness, big mistake. But then it turned out that it was quite the opposite, and I heard a couple of people go, oh, come on, we need to wake up, come on. And it was amazing.
She does that well.
It was amazing. And then I just went on to talk more about all of that, and
it's like a revival meeting. It sounds amazing.
But I'm gonna really say this because when I came off the stage, I mean, they got on their feet and clapped for everybody, so that wasn't special. They were on their feet clapping for everybody.
They're a great group to talk to.
Oh my God! I tell
really
you,
are.
I said it's going to take. I said I'm not talking to you guys as chiropractors. I'm talking to you as leaders. And if you believe that there's an innate intelligence that aligns the body and that makes the body heal, you have to believe that there's an innate intelligence that inspires you to become a chiropractor. Because that idea and that inspiration to become a chiropractor was somewhere before it landed in your head. It came from nowhere to now here. And that is the universal intelligence communicating to you, giving you the inspiration to do it. You took action on it, and now you have a responsibility. And they have a responsibility as leaders to start educating humanity that we have this gift inside of ourselves. And then I said, who among you will take the lead? I said, I just have a free book for you. I said, but if one of you is prepared to take the lead and to start to educate humanity on what's possible for us as individuals, because you guys already know it. I said, I didn't know you knew. I came face to face with innate and universal intelligence in Bali. I met it. I said, but I didn't know you knew. So I said, so now it's up to you guys to go and tell everybody out there, because the problem's not in here, it's out there. Anyway, this one guy roars up out of the audience to grab my book, and bless, the stage was as tall as me, and I think he thought he was going to take it in one leap, and the stage clipped him on the shins, and he came smack first right at my feet.
Okay.
I said to him, I've never been fallen for, but you're going to need a chiropractor. There's no chiropractor in the house. Yes, and I couldn't even help him up because my heels were so damn high. If I'd bent over, I'd have been over on top of him. Oh, my goodness. But then we walked outside, and of course, the lineup for my books was just, exceptional. And
Donna and I weren't there.
no, but there was a man there to actually take the sales. I just paid him 20%, so I just thought best thing I could do.
Yeah.
And so many people were coming up and they were talking to me about God. So many people came to me and said, God meant for you to be here. That was a very powerful message. God's obviously that innate intelligence inside of you. We're so grateful, we're so grateful. Nobody ever talks to me about God. And I went, well...
Oh, my God.
I did. I actually felt a bit OMG about it. I really did, and I was very surprised because I'm not a religious person, not by any stretch of the imagination. In fact, I'm the chiropractor to the medical, I'm the spirituality to the religious, So I was very surprised that there was so much conversation about God and so much conversation about how purposeful life actually is and how grateful they are to be able to interact with that God force, that life force, with other humans, that they felt so blessed and so lucky that they could do that. And I can honestly say it transformed not only the way that I see chiropractic, because now, seeing a chiropractor once a week is just a no-brainer for me, because now I know that's where my source of power is going to come from a physical perspective. What am I, nuts to not go and get that recharge? Like, I'd be crazy not to do that. Now that I know what chiropractic actually is and how I can be instrumental in my own healing as opposed to having somebody else fix me, which is what I've always believed chiropractic did, like doctors do and physios do and massage therapists do. They fix me rather than me fixing me. They just plug me into my source of power, that's all. Nothing more, nothing less. And I really, part of the whole concept of the podcast today, I think, is about really communicating to people that there's so much opportunity for us to be able to embrace the power that exists inside of us, but sometimes it does get blocked, and it gets blocked beyond our ability to fix it ourselves. And if we knew how to do it, we would. But there's people like the chiropractors, they really get that. And then they just clean the pipes, basically. They just clear the nervous system. And honestly, it's mind-blowing to me. Even as I'm just sitting here, I'm totally mind-blown by it. And as a result of speaking for the Dynamic Growth and speaking for San Francisco, now I've got another at least 8 opportunities. After speaking for San Francisco, that was on the Saturday, Brian asked me to go and speak for the students at the uni on the Monday. So I spoke for the students at the uni on the Monday and basically kind of covered something similar, but in a lot more depth. And now I'm going to be doing live feeds via Skype for the uni on empowering women. in chiropractic.
Oh, yay. You know, there's actually quite a few conferences that are just women chiropractic. There's one...
The Women's League.
The Women's League, yeah.
And why are they separating the women out? Like,
Oh, well, I don't think that they are.
No.
I don't think they're separating women out, and I don't get that they are. I think what they're trying to do is elevate women and empower women inside of chiropractic, because it's a very male-oriented industry. There are a lot of women coming through now.
You know what it was? I remember, like, when my dad went to school, there were hardly any women, and then when my sister went to Palmer, you know, she was one of like a couple of women. There weren't many women, but now it's becoming more, like in Australia it's almost 50-50 female male, so it is changing. Plus you're going to England in October to speak in Birmingham, so and there's like 650 chiropractors that will be there, or delegates that will be there. And what was interesting is how that came about is that Melissa, who runs the whole UK shebang, she and I were chatting together, and she said, "Oh, I heard about this girl at DG, Carren Smith." And I went, "Yeah, I know Carren." And then we started to chat, and I said, "You need to get onto her." And it's this year you're...
Yeah, it's this October. Yeah.
So people around the globe are hearing, because your philosophy is very similar to the chiropractic philosophy, because that's the way I was brought up. Is that exact way?
All the puzzles.
Yeah.
It all just came together. It just became so clear.
As to why I think this way is only because that's the way I was brought up.
Absolutely.
And so you're coming in with the chiropractors, or them just embracing you, is because I like that man. He thinks like I do.
But you're also giving
in
them
a
permission.
and in a different perspective that will help them even further.
Well, what I thought about was that, a lot of the chiropractors, and when I was running around doing my interviewing, they were very much only focused on the body. And one of the things that I said on stage, I said that the mind and the body are both connected. So we can't just address one without addressing the other. So I said, whether you guys, the mixes versus the straights, whatever, but there is a psychological component that's necessary to be able to maintain that clear conduit,
Yeah. But also in the chiropractic profession, as in the medical profession, there is extremes. So in the medical profession, we've got the real allopathic, that it's diagnosis and treatment with medication. And then there's the ones like Dr. Greg Emerson and Dr. Jack Cruz and all these amazing medical doctors out there that are actually looking at lifestyle and environment and nutrition and things like that. And in the chiropractic profession, that extreme still exists.
Yeah.
And there's the very allopathic chiropractor that has no philosophy behind him, and he was on Catalyst, one of them. I didn't know they existed, but he was on Catalyst, saying that, on a scientific point of view, this is what we do for the body, this is what we can do, this is what we can prove. And then there's the other chiropractor that knows that and believes and practices that by the adjustment we bring the physical and the spiritual together. So, you've got those, in anywhere you've got those extremes, and people have to realise that one chiropractor may suit their needs, but another one may not suit their needs, just like medical doctors. So I know people who go to a chiropractor once and go, well, he did me no good and he wasn't any good. Well, are you going to go to one medical doctor and say that about the whole of the medical profession?
Yeah.
No, you're not. So sometimes you may not find the chiropractor that's right for you, but, give it a couple of times or ask around and understand that you have a need, and that chiropractor might be able to fulfill that need where another one mightn't be able to. So if anyone's listening to this podcast that's gone to a chiropractor and gone, oh, they were a waste of time, well, that's just crazy saying that, because there are thousands of chiropractors out there with different varying...
If it wasn't for chiropractic, the three of us wouldn't be here doing these podcasts. It was thanks to three chiropractic doctors that created the wellness guides. That my belief and understanding from all of this is that chiropractic is about thinking outside the norm or outside the square, but also holistically approaching the whole being. Because my understanding growing up as a child was chiropractic was back cracking.
Same. That's all I've ever known.
It was back cracking, and they hurt. But what I've known, what I've come to learn, especially since knowing Howie and your dad, who just, the way he tests and the way he talks and the way he just goes down a rabbit hole whenever he's treating you.
Oh, I must meet your dad.
Oh, he's just divine. And he pinpoints things. He'll say things that are emotionally based on what your body's telling him through muscle testing and through different triggers that he works. But what it did for me is made me... I personally, I think chiropractic is about thinking bigger than what is presented. The problem is here, you've got a pain, but what's created it? What's your environment? What's your understanding? How can you be the healer? Because for many people, and often we see doctors as God, as if you like, I'm going to you, you're going to fix me. But it's not often in this day and age that we actually go and say, could you give me support in order for me to be God for myself?
No, well, we don't. We're not educated to think that way.
Because doctors, everything that they do, even me as a therapist, my idea is not to heal you. My idea is to give you some tools and strategies that I've learned or that I'm aware of that could work for you in order for you to allow your body to be the greatest healer and magician of all. But you have to be in control of that. So people, when they come for treatment or they get 10 sessions, I always crack up when people go, I've booked 10 sessions. I'm like, how do you know it's going to take? It could take one session. It could take 30 sessions. It could take a lifetime. But I think what I've learned, and particularly with what you've been saying today, is I guess any medical practitioner or holistic practitioner, their goal, their job is to support you to heal yourself. Like, that really should be the ultimate fundamental. But when you've got these pseudoscientists or these people knocking pseudoscience or looking at it, I sit there and go, oh my gosh, do I want to be the black sheep or the white sheep going with everybody else? And I love the fact that there's magic here. There's possibility. You're giving me permission to look for possibilities outside of a black and white adjustment or a black and white drug or a black and white treatment.
And I think also giving you the possibility that you are the creator. You are the creator
of the pain and the healing.
Because it empowers the human. It empowers the human rather than disempowers the human.
And I believe a lot of times you go to your doctor and you are disempowered. Like in The Meaning of Life, when they're in the pregnancy in the labour ward, and she's going, what do I do? She's pregnant and she's about to deliver a baby, and she goes, what do I do? And they go, lay back, we'll do it all. That's in The Meaning of Life. In Monty Python's Meaning of Life. And I go, that's what it is. We've been disempowered, and everything. Like, going to hospital to have a baby makes no sense to me, because we're not sick. Isn't hospitals a place to go when you're sick?
And I was told, you must have it in a hospital in case something goes wrong. I hadn't even thought something would go wrong.
No, and you're disempowered, and you're disempowered when here's the diagnosis, this is the treatment. No, don't change your lifestyle. Don't do anything else different. This will fix you. That to me is just total disempowerment. Sometimes we've got to do that. Whereas chiropractors, what they do is that they empower you, and they give you skills. Like, you got the spirituality. That was the first thing you got. What about food? I actually believe that, a chiropractor's main thing is to adjust. But there's also an education, and their education is that adjustment is not going to be the only thing. You also got to look at the mind. You've got to look at your...
That's where they have the conflict in the States about straight and mixers. Because straight's purely spine, where the mixers are the ones that will go, let's look at nutrition, let's look at lifestyle, let's look at psychology, let's look at kinesiology, let's bring in some other modalities. If the chiropractor doesn't deliver them themselves, they bring in other resources.
Exactly. Yeah.
But the straight just... does the adjustment.
This is what I look at with it. It's like eating McDonald's, Kentucky Fried Chicken, lean cuisine, breakfast cereals, modified milks, margarine, and taking a supplement. It's not going to do you any bloody good. I'm sorry. And it's the same. Eating McDonald's, doing Kentucky Fried Chicken, lean cuisine, whatever, eating all those and getting an adjustment. Imagine how much more power you will have to align the spirit and the physical body if you are touching on all things that can help you. Because after all, our life is not about getting sick and decrepit, and it shouldn't be about that. We should be living as strong and healthy and fit and as wise as we are in our 20s and 30s, even if we don't think we're wise at that point, as we should be at 100. And and what's happening is we're slowly degrading, where we're physically, mentally, and emotionally lost it. We're being disempowered. So I believe chiropractors as primary care practitioners, yes, chiropractic is their main thing, but to just say, look at this, and it may help you more, or look at this.
Absolutely.
Not necessarily, they don't have to become the experts. They just, it's like a medical doctor, you know, you go to your GP and then you are put to specialists like gynecologists, heart, you know, and that's very mechanistic. Whereas if you look at chiropractic and you look at the holistic part of it and the vitalistic part of it, food is part of it. Spirituality, you got that from a chiropractor, is another part of it. Emotional wellness, you know, all of those things. And in my way of thinking, if they've got key people that they can, you know, refer out to.
Yeah. But that's why I take my hat off to the wellness guys.
Yeah.
Like, seriously.
Yeah, look at them.
Look at the topics and conversations on their podcast, way outside of what I would imagine is chiropractic care. But they are talking holistically.
But see, they get it. They get the wellness, and wellness is a complex, you know, collection of components, really. And the guys in the States, they really got that too. I don't know so much here in Australia because I didn't run around interviewing everybody. No. But I'll tell you, next year I'm going to do it when I speak at DG again, because I want to know what the contrast is for Australia, or if we know what Australia's issues are. But I agree with you. It's about the whole wellness concept, and the wellness guys have got it nailed. They really do. They're brilliant.
And the way they're delivering it, and I was listening to a business conference, and it was about, you know, how do we get our message out there, and podcasting is the way to do that. Podcastings and Facebooks, and the wellness guys have got that. They started with themselves, and then it was us, and then it was in the mind of an athlete or whatever, and you know, and they've got so many now, and it's almost like a radio station that I go to, and I can make my decision on who I'm going to listen to. And I don't think a lot of people have gotten onto this, that they realise what's available to them free, and information that can help them and empower them to live a vitalistic lifestyle. And that is to believe in the things we were talking about in our last podcast, which was, you know, manifesting and universal intelligence and innate intelligence and gratitude and letting go and you know, stopping the worry and all these things. And it allows you to live a fulfilled life instead of a scared, fearful life. And that's not what we were meant for.
Do you know what else I get from this? And I love the way you guys talk about this, is maybe chiropractic is that magic energy that blooms a rose, that bakes a baby, the way you say that do we have to have a scientific reason why, and just trust and be and accept and take every health expression, or other people would call it illness or disease or symptom as an opportunity to investigate further in order to, and I love it when you say it, Cyndi, you know, is your body whispering or screaming? Because it starts off as a whisper, you know, so it's almost like taking either very macro or very micro view on this and stop trying to prove everything. Sometimes, how do we prove everything and everything? Surely if we're intelligent beings, we know some things are beyond our humanistic ability to understand. Is that not true?
Like miracles, you know, like how do we explain the miracles of Jesus Christ? You know, are we going to have some scientific thing done about the miracles of Jesus Christ? No, you know. So, and I think chiropractors need to actually just get over this whole medical
I do
thing.
too. It's like the mechanic and the beauty therapist.
Yeah, exactly.
Let it be what it is.
Let them be what they want to be.
Be brilliant.
Yeah, and they are. And
be a beacon of light for us.
Yes.
Everything is normally so scientific and so fought and argued and everything. Be a beacon of light that allows those of us that are open and willing and keen to actually come down that journey with them and lead us.
And more people are willing to go down that path these days.
They are. More and more.
More people are looking for an alternative.
Because the other's not working.
No. I tell you, this is a whole other podcast, but there was a guy who was speaking at the conference talking about autism, and I took photos of his slides, Cyndi. I tell you what, amazing, and I'll give you his name. And he was a chiropractor, and he was talking about vaccinations in the States. And it was such an eye-opener. So the chiropractors are really in the realms of, and they're in the right place, they're really in the realms of knowing better, therefore humans can do better. My wish for chiropractors is that they find their voice and they don't hold back and they don't hide behind anything. They just get out there and bloody well tell it how it is about innate intelligence so that we become empowered. I just think that's been the most gobsmacking learning I've gotten out of this experience, and that there are people out there and they know more and they know better, and from them we can become better, and I think it's amazing.
Lawrence, Damien and Brett, we are counting on you.
Well, Brett has actually just completed my speaker training program, Speakers Fast Track. Oh my goodness, you should have seen him on stage in Melbourne a couple of weeks ago. Oh, I mean, he was spectacular. He's always been spectacular. But electrifying. He was just,
Oh, wow. So we'll see it.
Was. Yeah. Electrifying. Amazing. So, yeah, it's very cool. Anyway, so that was my recap of my recent trip to San Francisco. Really cool learnings I got, really cool experiences. So, yeah, I really wanted to share that with you guys.
Loved it. Absolutely.
So jump onto thewellnesscouch.com/up for a chat and let us know about your chiropractic experiences. Or actually, have you never been to a chiropractor, or have you been to physiotherapists or osteopaths? I'm really keen to hear how many people are actually willing to explore different alternatives to medical for their own sense of well-being. What are we doing out there? What are people doing actually? Also jump onto Facebook, facebook.com/up for a chat. Let us know what you're doing on Facebook as well. I'd love to hear from you. So join us next week on Up for a Chat and be part of the ripple effect that's changing the world, and we are gonna see you on the ride.
This has been a production of TheWellnessCouch.com. Check us out on Facebook and join in the conversation on Facebook.com/TheWellnessCouch. Subscribe to each show on iTunes and check us out on Twitter. The Wellness Couch, streaming wellness into your lives.
Hi, Damien Christoph from 100 Not Out here. Wow, what a wellness summit we had in Melbourne. 600 people filled the Crown Conference Centre to listen to Cyndi O'Meara and her Up for a Chat colleagues, David Gillespie, Ron Ehrlich, Nicole Bilsma and the Wellness Guys, of course. And guess what? We recorded every single minute of it. That's right. You can see 9 world-class speakers with over 7 hours of footage in the comfort of your own home. How cool is that? The best news is, until midnight Saturday the 7th, September 2013, this pack is just $147. Then it'll go to $197. So, to pre-order your Wellness Summit home study program for just $147, go to www.thewellnesscouch.com and click on shop.
Whilst the Wellness Couch presenter endeavored to provide accurate and helpful information to their listeners, these podcasts cannot take into account individual circumstances and are not intended to be a substitute for health and medical advice from a qualified health professional. You should always seek the advice of a qualified health professional before acting on any of the information provided by any of the Wellness Couch podcasts.